Okay, 8 reasons why you should get the Canon EOS RP. 1 is the price. It's the cheapest full frame camera in its category, priced at only, I'm looking right now at Amazon, at only $999. And 2 is the size. The size of the camera. Look at the size of the camera. I have this Canon 7D here, and you can see how much of a difference that is. And this is a full frame camera, so being small, you can basically take it anywhere. It would fit in your bag very easily. In fact, like this, you can even fit it in your pocket if your pocket is big enough, in your jacket pocket maybe. It's small, so it's light, even much lighter than this Canon 7D. And then 3, it's a solid image performer. I've used this camera for professional use many times before. I've even shot and used images from this camera, shot at ISO 12,800. Image quality is still usable, and I would say with the full frame sensor you also get that crazy full frame bokeh, which is something that I love, especially when I'm shooting portraits of people, and I do lots of weddings as well, and having that full frame bokeh is just amazing. Having this flip out screen, this is one of the best feature that I love about this camera. In photography, you can use it to take unusual angle. For example, if you're taking an up top angle, or you're taking the waist level angle, you can use that flip out LCD screen and flip it out whichever direction that you would like. I myself, for example, I've used this waist level shot a lot, and I find it very helpful. As for the video part, I don't shoot 4K, so I don't really need that 4K, even though that it does have the option to shoot in 4K, albeit with a very significant crop, but I never use that. So as for my professional use, I don't really need 4K yet. Full HD is good for me, and with the recent firmware update, you can shoot this in full HD at 24 frames per second, which is probably 95% of whatever I shot in. So you can shoot full HD at 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and even 60 frames per second if you need that extra slow motion bit. And then of course the excellent dual pixel autofocus. There's no compromise here. Even though it's the cheapest full frame camera, the dual pixel autofocus works just as good as any other cameras that Canon have right now. Smooth and cinematic focus pulling. Whenever I'm vlogging, I just pull it out like this, put a lens in there, and I don't even have to worry about the focus getting it right, because I'd say 99.9% of the time it will definitely lock on perfectly on my face. Even if I'm shooting wedding videos as well, I can just tap on the screen to get that focus right on my subject. It does comes with both the 1.5mm microphone jack and a headphone jack for audio monitoring, which is good, which is important. If you need to monitor the audio you're recording, you might need to monitor the audio coming out of the camera, subject talking to the camera. So having that headphone jack is very helpful for video work. And then the digital IS. Now this camera comes with a form of digital image stabilization built in. Although at first I was skeptical, I thought that it would be quite mushy and useless whenever I'm shooting it with the digital IS, because that is what lots of past experiences have taught me about in-camera digital IS. But I would not say the same for this camera. The Canon EOS RP actually supports very good digital image stabilization feature. I find myself using it almost all the time. Unless I have this on a tripod, I might switch it off, but anyway, if I'm not, if I'm shooting it while I'm hand holding it, if it's on a gimbal, I'd even use that digital IS just to get that extra smoothness. And believe me, it does smoothen out that footage, although you cannot expect it to be the same as a three-axis gimbal. That would be insane to compare something like this to that. But then again, for any usable clips that I use, that I shoot in, even even in my wedding shoots, I use that digital IS almost all the time. 8 most important feature that I think is the reason why you should get the Canon EOS RP right now.